What's up guys, and welcome to my video. Now this video is all about the PlayStation 4 and it's my full review of the PlayStation 4. It's been out for a short time now. You in the US have almost had it for a month. But the thing is it any good? And say if you're a PC gamer or you're interested in gaming on a PC, how does it compare to a PC? Those are the questions that I'm going to go over and actually tell you. Let's start with the controller though, because obviously the console itself can wait. And this is the biggest topic for me really, just plainly because I really genuinely like the new controller. If you saw my hands on at Gamescom, you'll know that it's a little bit bigger and it just fits nicely in the hand and you kind of almost don't realise you're using it. It's just nicer compared to the DualShock 3, which was quite small. The triggers on the back are now brilliant to use. Realistically they're up to the Xbox 360 pad quality. That was brilliant. You've got the share and the options buttons on the controller, and you've got the light bar. The battery life is nowhere near as good as it was before. I think they say it's about 8 hours, and that does seem about right, but that doesn't really matter just because it charges up really quickly and it does it in standby mode now, so it doesn't really make that much difference. How much it has to do with the light bar, I'm not entirely sure. It's got a lot of stuff going on inside. It's got a touchpad here with a clickable button as well. But the thing for me, other than the fact I'd really like to point out that it is very nice to use, I'm actually not that happy with the controller itself. And you may have heard it hasn't actually been that well broadcast. If you're looked on things like Reddit and stuff, you might have seen it. But these thumbsticks, as good as they are, they're made out of this really light wearing rubber, and I've probably used this console for maybe about 25 hours-ish. Or thereabouts, and already the left one is starting to go. I really don't go really bad with the thumbsticks. I don't get really violent with them, but it's already, I don't know if you can see, it's starting just to come away slightly here, and at the moment it doesn't really make any difference, but if it's wearing away now, what's it going to look like in a year's time? To put that into perspective, the PS3 pad that I've used for a lot more than 25 hours is absolutely fine. There's no marks on it at all. And the 360 pad, which I've probably used even more, has some wear and tear on it, but it's more than usable. It's, you know, it's fine. But I'm slightly concerned about that. You can buy like silicone pads that will go on the top, and might have to do that. But it is something to point out that hopefully they need to revise it, just because it's not good enough. To be perfectly honest, it's not good enough. But realistically, that's only the only negativity that I really have with this console so far. Let's get stuck in and show you the menus and talk about the graphics and everything you might want to know.
So the menus are fairly different to how they were before. Obviously you've still got a similar XMB style, but it's not the same thing at all. As you can see, if you select say FIFA, which is a disc copy, it gives you loads of information about what you and your friends have done and news about it. If you want more news, you go to the What's New screen, and this shows you only my stuff at the moment. But if you had a load of friends, which sadly I don't, then all your friends' stuff would come up here. You've got a couple friends, but yeah. Going across to the settings menu, the power is on the right, but the settings remembers where you were before. You got all the sorts of similar settings that you did have before, and they're all here. Trophies, they still need to sync, they don't take as long. It's a bit silly how that happens. But if you go onto your trophies, then they're all here, and it's very similar to how it was before. It shows you rarity, but it does that on PS3 now as well. Main thing is that it's just really quick to access them. Your profile syncs up to your Facebook, as you can see, and it shows you all about you and all your achievements and all your recent doings and activities. Your friends can see this as well. Not everyone sees your real name, only your friends, and only if you enable that. Party chat is cross between Vita and PS4. You just create one, and then I believe it's up to 8 players can have a party chat. Messages are the same. Back to party chat though, the actual voice quality is very good for their included headset. Notifications, that shows you all your notifications, so videos when they're uploaded, downloads when they're done, friends come online, all that sorts of stuff. And this is an example now of how it's still a little bit buggy. I would show you the PlayStation 4. PlayStation 4? I'm showing you the PlayStation 4. I would show you the PlayStation Store, but as you can see, it's not actually loading up at the moment. That hasn't really happened before, but you do get a couple bugs at the moment with the software, but that is to be expected. It's not really a massive deal, but obviously, as you can see, it still is a tiny bit buggy. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a capture card, so I've got to show you this off screen. But the graphics are actually very, very good. They're not quite up to ultra settings of Battlefield 4, but for a console, they're really, really good. This is actually at 60 frames a second. Well, it does drop a little bit. This is just some online Killzone Shadowfall, and it's just the game itself is actually pretty good. I'd heard it wasn't that great, but I was pleasantly surprised. But the graphics are just very, very good. You can, if you want to see more of the graphics, obviously you can check out other people's videos that they've properly uploaded. Unfortunately, the share button doesn't share to YouTube, so I can't use that functionality. It's only to Facebook at the moment. But I hope this does give you a brief idea of the fact that the graphics are actually very impressive. Now, this game is Resogun, and this is one of the free games included with PlayStation Plus, which I'm sure most PlayStation 4 players will get. And this is actually one of the best games on the console. To give you an idea of actually platinum this game, it wasn't actually that difficult. But it's just really, really fun, keeps you amused for a long time, and obviously it's free. And for what it is, the graphics are impressive as well. But it just goes to show that games don't have to be big blockbuster titles. The more indie titles can be just as fun, or in this case, probably more fun, to be perfectly honest. For a free game that's included, it's pretty breathtaking, really, I'm not going to lie. It does use some of the functionality, like this speaker inside the PlayStation 4 as well, and it puts it to good use. And of course, you've got FIFA. Actually, it's very impressive on the new console. If you're interested in soccer, as you call it over there, it's just a better version of the PlayStation 3. Not because of the graphics. The graphics are a lot better, but because actually the engine feels a lot better, and it's probably not really a showcase for the PlayStation 4's hardware, like 2K, the basketball, 2K, whatever it is, 2K13, 14, whatever it's called, is, but it's a great PlayStation 4 version, and if you're interested in FIFA, then you should definitely pick up this game on the PlayStation 4, because it's just really much better version, not much more to say than that. And of course, it's a good game that is a great use of the share functionality. If you want to share your gameplay, just tap the share button like you can see I'm doing now, and then this screen comes up. How do you want to share your experience? And you can either broadcast to Twitch, or you can share it online. You've got these video clips here that it saves the last 15 minutes of your gameplay all the time. You suspend the application. Be careful, if you're playing Ultimate Team, then the match will be disconnected because it uses the online functionality. But you just get in and you can edit your clip very easily. So you see, easiest way to do it is use the 60-second intervals, and then you just select the end and the start, click trim, and then it will start uploading it to your Facebook. Hopefully there'll be more places you can put that in the future though.
Now on to what it's like from a PC gamer's perspective. The graphics obviously are a lot better than they were on the PS3 and the Xbox 360, but they're not quite up to PC standards, but they're more than fine. They're very good. Killzone especially looks really, really beautiful. The single player campaign does feel a little bit sluggish because it's only about about 30 frames a second, I believe it is. The multiplayer is uncapped, but it does drop slightly. But with a controller, that's not too bad, and for a console that produces graphics as good as Killzone's, I can't really complain that much. You're not missing out on much if you have a PS4 at the moment from a graphical perspective. Obviously, later down the line, the gap's just going to grow and grow because this is stagnant hardware, whereas the PC is always going to change. But of course, you'd have to pay more money to sort your graphics cards and stuff like that. But yeah, graphics are pretty much on par with a mid-range PC at the moment. Now, my biggest gripe, other than the thumb pad with the PlayStation 4, is these games. What about them? Price. They're bloody expensive. These cost about, depending on where you get them, the cheapest you can get FIFA at the moment is about $42.99 in Great British pounds, and Killzone is probably about the same, but most of them are about 50 quid. And if you want to, say, go into store like a lot of people do, pick them up in places like Game, Blockbuster's closed obviously, so you can't pick them up there, but they're charging like $54.99. Get stuffed. I'm not interested. You shouldn't be interested. This is a very expensive piece of hardware, and obviously the games are gonna go down as more and more people buy them. But do you want to pay that much for games? No. I want to play Assassin's Creed Black Flag, for example. I've got a choice. I can get it on PlayStation 4 or I can get it on PC. PC version is arguably, and it is, better if you've got the high-end hardware to run it. How much does it cost on the PS4? You're looking at 50 quid. How much does it cost on the PC? You're looking at about 25 quid. You can probably get it a little bit cheaper, and of course Steam sales, you'll be able to pick it up even cheaper than that. It's just so expensive, and the worst thing about it is, if I go into the PlayStation Store, which is a little bit buggy and didn't actually come up earlier, whether it will now, we'll see. But on the PlayStation 4, digital games, they're even more expensive. What's that all about? Why is anyone buying them? You can trade this in right now and you can get about £35 or thereabouts. You can't do that with a digital copy, and it's more expensive. Nuts. PC wins on money by a massive amount, and that of course is going to add up from all those games. At the moment it's a £20 gap. £20 over, say, how many games would you buy a year? I don't know, between 5 and 10 maybe. I don't know how many you buy, but you know, that's like 100 quid to 200 quid. That's almost the cost of the console, and yeah, it's buggy PlayStation Store. Now the other things to mention really, I guess, are verging on the obvious. This is nowhere near as good as a mouse and keyboard is for first-person shooters. So games like Killzone are always going to be worse in a way, just because you've got to use this. I don't mind, because obviously I get to like lounge on the couch and play games, and it's a little bit different experience. But if you're very serious about your shooters, then obviously this isn't really an option for you. You can actually use the PlayStation 4 pad on the PC. I believe it's the DS4 tool. You may have heard of the DS3 tool, which you could use to get your PlayStation 3 controller working with your PC, and then you can use your PS4 pad for all the games. Slight drawback, there's no vibration, and obviously you can't use any of this jazz at the moment. And I personally would at the moment definitely stick with a 360 pad, because that works without any workarounds, and you get vibration, and it is slightly easier, and it's a cheaper controller as well. But obviously that is up to you. You can use this with the PC, but I wouldn't. One redeeming feature of the PlayStation though that you don't have on the PC is kind of a double-edged sword. You've got to pay about 35 Great British pounds at the moment. Don't know how many dollars that is. I'm not going to make a figure up for you over in the US, but as you know, if you want to play multiplayer, you've got to now pay for it. But I don't mind, because I do that anyway, because PlayStation Plus is brilliant. Resogun, Contrast, both free this month with PlayStation Plus on the PS4, along with some PS3 games. I can't remember what they were. They were good though. Oh, I think it was Grid 2. And then you also get like Guacamelee on the Vita, and if you have all these things, that's a lot of good quality games. Xbox are doing kind of, Games with Gold, which is just a laughing stock in comparison at the moment, because you got something like Assassin's Creed 2, which is like 5 years old. Don't get me wrong, it's a very good game, but obviously these are new titles and good titles. I haven't actually mentioned, not really, you got Netflix and all these on-demand services on the PlayStation 4. Obviously you can get them on PC as well, but it's in your lounge. So you get loads of free games each month for £35, verging on slightly better value than what you get through Steam sales. Only slightly though, and obviously they are older games, but that is a definite plus side of having a PS4. Realistically, you don't ever need to buy any games for it if you don't want to. That's what I currently do with the PlayStation Vita, and that works out absolutely fine. So this has been my full PlayStation 4 review. Overall, last words, it's expensive, but it's still obviously a much better value than the Xbox One is. Don't have one of those to talk about, but I went for the PlayStation 4, and personally I think you should as well if you're on the fence about what to buy. The games look very good, but they are too expensive at the moment, and as a result people aren't really going to buy many. They're expensive, but say you buy FIFA 14 for $42.99 in the Great British Pounds, or Madden over in the US, I know you prefer that. This is football, this is real football, yeah? None of that soccer business. Say you play it for a year, $42.99 doesn't actually seem that bad value if you play FIFA a lot. But they're still too expensive really for what they are. The hardware is good, it's quick, it's efficient, everything loads quickly, the mandatory installs you have to do, they don't take very long at all, and you don't need to install the whole game before you start playing. FIFA, again as an example, it installs like a very small amount, and then you get playing a game of football, and while you're playing that game of football it's installing the rest of the disc. You know, it's decent. 500 gig hard drive though won't last very long. But of course you can just delete games because they don't take very long to install, so people are crying about all these mandatory game installs that you won't have room for that many, which is true, but it doesn't take long to delete them and reinstall them, and how many people actually have over 10 games on the go at once? No, not very many people. It's slightly annoying, but it's not really a big issue. Elsewhere, the controller is good apart from the wearing pads. I'll give you an update on that and see how that goes. Yeah, I'll give you an update on that. But other than that, there's only one thing that I want to say, and that is a lot of people have been asking me, and if you do have questions for me, I really don't mind, send me a private message on YouTube and I normally get back to them. Sorry if I'm a bit slow, but obviously I'm a busy man. The question I get asked a lot is, I'm in the market for either a new console, so a PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, or low to mid-end PC, so similar sort of money. What shall I go for? And I don't want to answer this question with the usual, well, it's up to you, isn't it? Depends on your personal circumstances. I think the main thing is, at the moment, PlayStation 4 doesn't have much going for it, whereas obviously the PC has got countless titles. Both have their exclusives, but obviously PC has more exclusives, so that shouldn't really reflect your opinion that much. At the moment, 100% get a PC. Doesn't have to be a low-end one, like mid-range. As long as you're spending over like £100 or nearing $200, $150 on a graphics card, then your PC should be more than up to the task of producing PlayStation 4-like graphics. You're going to get more games, you're going to get the cheaper games. A lot of them are free to play as well. Same on PlayStation 4, though, you've got some free to play titles. But at the moment, there's just way more going for the PC, and you really miss out on those PlayStation 4 games. You can always pick up a PlayStation 4 in a year or two when it's come down in price. Thank you for watching this video. It's been a pleasure as always. If you have any questions, then just leave them in the comments below. Hit the like button. Hit the like button if you like this video. Hit the dislike video if you dislike this video. And as always, leave a comment. And don't forget to subscribe for more similar videos. I am a little bit sorry about the fact that content has been a little bit slow at the moment. But obviously I have a lot of stuff to juggle at the moment, and obviously you guys are really a massive priority, but I've got other commitments, I'm afraid. But there's more great stuff coming this Christmas season, including a Christmas rig, which I know you guys like. So if you are in the budget sector for a new PC, hang on, that video is coming very soon. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.